see at the end, I'm in dumbass phase number 5 right now, doing a tech startup that who knows what will happen with it. So, but I'm doing it. So I figured if I have anything to impart on you guys, it's a little bit of knowledge on how to actually do stuff. And I think the place to start with that is, what is the biggest hurdle that keeps people from following through with the mini side projects? And I think it's the stack. You know, everyone has it. It takes on a lot of different forms, but I'm pretty sure that everybody here has the idea stack on their desk somewhere or in a drawer. You know, this is a pretty familiar one that I see in a lot of offices. This is what mine used to look like for some time. You gotta do this. Oh, dude, do this one. You gotta get it. This is the one. This is the T-shirt idea that's gonna make $1 million. But the one that finally got me was this one. It was the worst. I used to keep a document on my desktop at work all the time, and when I was running from one meeting to another, or I, had an idea on the walk into work, I would get in and I would dump it, so that I could actually focus on whatever I was going to focus on for the next 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, right? And so finally one day I was like, I have this fucking ideas.doc on my desk and I'm not doing any of it. It's just sitting there. So I decided, I had a week coming up that was I was going to force myself to take a vacation and look through it. And I printed it off, and I had 36 pages, single space, of ideas that I had just dumped in there thoughtlessly over the years. So it was probably like a 6-year-old document, and I had done 0 of them, ever. So I sat down one day and went through every single one of them. And one day turned into 2, and then it turned into a whole week. And I took every single idea and I looked at it, and I gave it 10 minutes of thought, okay, is this something that could be a business? Is this something that could actually turn into an ad thing? This is just funny and I want to do it. And everything that passed that test got to stay, and everything else got crossed off. And at the end of it, I was left with maybe 12 things out of thousands of things that had filled up this document forever. So before I get into anything, I brought in a few of the ones that I actually decided to follow through on. But before I get into anything, that was my kind of one big aha moment, was a stack of ideas is fucking worthless. But 10 ideas, or 4 ideas, or 1 idea that you can actually apply yourself to and put some time to has huge amounts of potential. So, in other words, you gotta cut that stack down at some point. And so that's kind of what I did. And the first idea that was I guess the most special to me was something that I'd essentially been working on for 10 years already, and I just didn't know it. Some of you may have seen this before, but so this kind of goes back to a fairly long, kind of sad story, but I promise, everything ramps up from here. It gets more fun from here. Jesse did all the funny, so I've got to bring it down and just gloomy. So this starts with a few really fun facts. 50,000 people are diagnosed with leukemia just in the US every single year. Woo! Yes. Out of those 50,000 people, about a fifth of them will need a bone marrow transplant to survive, or a stem cell transplant, some kind of transplant. And out of those people, about half of them will actually find one. And if you live in Scandinavia and your families live there forever and ever and ever, that percentage goes up a little bit. If you live in America, it goes down. If you're any amount of minority at all, it goes way down. If you've ever lived somewhere that's been populated by anyone else, it goes way down, which is pretty much all of us, unless you live in Denmark. Then you've got a pretty good chance. So I didn't know anything about this until about 10 years ago because of this dude right here. This is my twin brother. His name's Britton. Pretty handsome dude. About 10 years ago, his hair is not as good, but he's a pretty handsome dude. About 10 years ago, this guy, Britton, was diagnosed with leukemia. And I had no idea what that even was. So through this process, I kind of learned, you already said fucking murder kids, so I don't feel as bad about it, but I got introduced to the fucking awful process that is bone marrow transplants and bone marrow registrations. And there's, when you think about it, there's this sort of stigma, right, of there's the 12-inch needle that's going to go into somewhere and it's going to pull out a bunch of icky stuff. So the reality is, being a bone marrow donor is actually very easy, and the thing that's even easier is the thing that's the most needed, which is being a bone marrow registrar. So basically, there's a giant database, right, of all the people that have ever decided, you know what, maybe one day I'd like to give someone bone marrow if I ever get the phone call, right? It's super easy. It's a cheek swab or a finger prick. They need like one speck of your DNA. The easiest thing ever. The problem is, they've made it so hard on themselves to actually get that little speck of DNA. So still, to this day, you have two options if you want to be a bone marrow donor. You can either go to like 1 or 2 doctors in town that actually have the right paperwork and take your lunch break to go like clear across town to the Upper West Side or something. Or you can order a kit online from one of the marrow donor registries and you can pay for it. And you can pay for the shipping for it and you can pay for the shipping back. So talk about a high barrier to entry, right? So finally, you know, I worked on this for like, I mean, way before I was an ag guy, when I was just like a kid trying to figure out like, I've got a sick brother that's trying to find a marrow transplant, how do we make it simpler? And I thought of a bunch of really awful ideas, a bunch of stuff that got scratched off, you know, before I was even scratching things off. And eventually I came up with something that I finally thought was simple enough and maybe had the potential to actually change things. So I have a little video here. Sorry, ad people, it's a case study. But it'll do a better job of explaining it than I will.
Hi, I'm Graham, and this is my twin brother. 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with leukemia, but thankfully, his life was saved by a complete stranger who had registered to be a marrow donor. He was lucky, though. You see, more than 650,000 people are diagnosed with leukemia and lymphoma every year. And for the most severe cases, like my brother's, a marrow transplant is their last hope. But only about half find a match. Unfortunately, the Marrow Donor Registry is one of the most underrepresented donor programs in the world. And it's no wonder, really. Most people think that registering as a marrow donor is painful and complicated, when really, all it takes is a couple drops of blood. The only pain is actually finding a way to register. Now, you have to either take time out of your busy day to go to a special doctor, or order a registration kit online, pay $16 for it, and while you're at it, pay for the shipping. We've made it so difficult to register. It's amazing that a few good people out there care enough to jump through all these hoops just to save a random person's life. But the fact is, most don't. Imagine, though, how many lives could be saved if registering as a marrow donor wasn't so hard. What if we could turn a normal, everyday act into a chance to save a life? Introducing Help, I Want to Save a Life. A package of over-the-counter bandages that also doubles as a simple marrow donor registry kit. So the next time you cut yourself shaving or shuffling papers or making dinner and you reach for a box of bandages, you'll have a chance to save someone's life. You just put a couple of drops of blood on the swabs, toss it in the prepaid envelope, drop it in the mail, and that's it. You're a potential lifesaver. This simple idea brought together a pretty unlikely pair. Help Remedies, a pharmaceutical company, and DKMS, the world's largest marrow donor registry. And then something pretty amazing happened. The TED Conference chose it as one of their favorite ideas of the year, and even helped us launch it at this year's global conference. And since then, the whole world's helped us spread the word and share our story. And in just a few short months, sales of Help's bandages are already up more than 1,900%. But amongst all these sales figures and media impressions and YouTube hits, there's really only one statistic that matters. Thanks to this little pack of bandages, marrow registrations have nearly tripled. Who would have thought a few paper cuts could make a world of difference and actually save lives?
So if you're shopping next time, grab one. There's Band-Aids in there too, so you can actually use them. So this is just a look at what's inside there since everything was all, I drew that, by the way, so part of the shitty quality of it. So yeah, I mean, this is basically all it was. This is what their bandages look like already. We just stuck one of these in there. So, you know, if you cut yourself, the first thing that falls out is this, and it's a prepaid envelope, simple little instruction, a couple of little swabs, and that's it. You put your email address on it and you're done. They send you everything else you need. You might have seen that there was a couple of frames in there of a weird looking video with a guy painted as a knife. So you might want to watch this.
Thank the cat. Who tired of your affection. Thank the cheese grater, who grated more than cheese. Thank the cactus for being a cactus. Why are we thanking these things? Because today, when you open a package of Help I've Cut Myself bandages, you'll also find a marrow donor registry kit. Just put some blood on the swabs. Put those bloody swabs in the mail. And you could register to be a bone marrow donor and help one of the 10,000 people in the US who will need a marrow transplant to not die this year.
Thank you, Shop Objects.
It was our pleasure. Together, we can make a difference.
PSA, we just did a thank you to everything that could cut you, because now everything that can cut you is a lifesaver. You know, you'll be glad to know that that handsome gentleman in the picture before is doing great now because of one person that decided to sign up for a random list and answer the phone when he got called. I encourage you all to do the same thing. You don't have to do the help thing, just do anything. You Google bone marrow registry, it'll come up with like 10 different really reputable, like really solid people that can do it for you. So go do it, it's really easy. It's a cheek swab or a finger prick, it doesn't hurt at all. So I promise that's the last like doom and gloom thing. I figured let's move from there to Swedish particle board. Yes. Yeah. So, okay, this is one of those ideas that fell into that's kind of funny and I would like to do that category. So one night some friends of mine and I were at a bar having some beers. A couple of them were going to have to go to IKEA with their girlfriends the next day. They're making an IKEA run, which everyone that lives in New York knows what that is. It's like the Saturday that you wake up and you're like, God damn it. These blinds are like $35. I have to do it, right? So, as you would at a bar, someone said something funny in Swedish and it became really funny. And that was the Malm bed, which I'm sure many of you have either owned or know someone owned. I still own a Malm bed to this day. And we thought like, oh, Malm is so funny. You're gonna see so many hot moms tomorrow. So many hot moms walking around IKEA. And, you know, had a couple more beers, made a couple more mom jokes, and eventually we decided like, man, we should really make like an IKEA themed porn site called hotmom.com. And we bought it that night. I woke up to an email the next morning from GoDaddy saying congratulations on your registration of hotmom.com. That actually happens to me pretty often. It's like, oh, you got drunk and registered a URL. So we did, and it's called hotmom.com. So about a year ago, we got together on a weekend, just like a designer buddy, a developer buddy, and a writer buddy, and a project manager buddy. I think we met at the same bar, and we decided like, okay, like if we made hotmom.com, what would that look like? And then so we did. It's the shittiest website you've ever seen, kind of on purpose. Do I mind the internet? Yes. Let's bring it over here. I'll give you a little tour. Let me give you a little tour here. So this is hotmom.com. Do you want to enter? Yes, we do. So we took pretty much every porn joke that you could. You know, we made these banner ads, of course, because it's not a good porn site unless someone's talking about a bigger beam. I encourage you guys to go spend some time on hotmom.com. I still look at it pretty often. This is my mom, actually. This hot mom from behind. That's my mom. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you remember the monkey that got into an IKEA? I don't know why we put that on there. But, yeah. Uh-oh. white mom on mom action. So I've heard that porn sites have categories. So we decided we should probably have some categories. So we have ebony moms, animal on mom action. These are here's some mature moms. There's a Pendleton in that one. Teen moms, look out. You got some twin moms in there. And then don't forget the hot slats. You could translate the whole site to Swedish also, if you wanted to. And if you wanted to, you could look at live webcam.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Where is that? It's under. I remember. We even programmed it to be a really fucking annoying site. And then the one thing I forgot to mention is every single one of these like blonde moms here links to the it used to link. Links to the mom blonde twin whatever it is on IKEA.com. So that was a pretty fun one, and like I had fun facts before for the sad leukemia thing, I have a few fun facts here. It ended up not just being a funny thing that we did at a bar, because we followed through on it. We got 6 million impressions the first week. It was shared 700,000 times the first day. Huffington Post, it was one of the sites you should be wasting your time on right now. And my personal favorite, BuzzFeed said it was the best IKEA themed porn parody site. So we nailed it. So, we actually, the plan was to get a cease and desist from IKEA because we had a whole cease and desist themed porn site that we were going to make. And we never got one until we never realized why until we finally looked at our Google Analytics page one day. We drove 7 million people to IKEA with basically a mom site. So that just goes to show you sometimes the funny I got drunk at a bar and made a mom joke can turn into something that's actually this is in my book now. So okay, that's 2 out of 3. I promise this is the last one. We're getting back to what Stephanie was talking about before. So the final thing that I have to show you guys today is a side project that I'm in the midst of right now. I quit advertising altogether. I made the leap, which I'm not necessarily recommending. It kind of sucks. About 10 months ago, started a tech company last July. We've been working on it for probably 2 years, just on the side, nights and weekends, and I was freelancing for a little bit so I could put, a couple days at it here and there, or maybe a week at it. But eventually we hit the point where we had invested enough time and money into it where it was either something we needed to just go with 100% of the time or shelf completely. And so we decided to do it. It's called Rex. So Rex kind of started with this really simple premise of, my partner and I, the guy that actually is the founder of it, I guess, he was a director at Smuggler for a long time, and we would get together every time we were in the same city, talk about all the things we should be doing besides advertising. And we had this shared problem where we were having a hard time finding stuff that we liked. Music, books, bars, restaurants, whatever. And we started a little newsletter that we sent around just to our friends that was like, here's some songs that we were listening to this week and some books we were listening to. And we found that actually it was more valuable, those things, than all the other recommendation sites and apps out there. And so if you're looking for something now, you basically have two options, right? You're gonna end up with something that looks like an algorithm. Like you listen to this song and you listen to this song, so you must like this song, right? The problem is, I like Bob Dylan, but I don't like folk music, right? Or I like David Sedaris, but I don't like short stories. And that's about the most information they can give you with an algorithm. No matter how many terabytes of data Google collects on you, it's still pretty shitty at telling you something that you're gonna like, right? The other avenue is an aggregator of some kind, like Yelp or Foursquare, where you get like 5,000 reviews from strangers from 5 years ago, from Ohio. If you live in New York, it's mostly like someone went to, like Carnegie Deli and they were like, oh my God, signed pictures of people everywhere. So we kind of took a step back and realized like, the recommendations, the way that you've always got them, are not broken. Just tech people put tech things on top of them. Tried to put code on top of it and tried to put like, developers and VCs and stuff on top of it. But the ways you've always gotten recommendations are still the most valuable ones. You would ask your friend or your sister or the guy at work that's a foodie or the girl that's really good at music. And that was sort of the birth of Rex. It's now become an application that's just a totally friend-powered recommendation platform. In other words, the way that we started describing it is it's basically Instagram for things. So rather than posting a picture of the restaurant that you're at, or the tacos you were eating, or the beach that you're on, which is what half of Instagram is, or we see a lot of people posting like the books that they're reading, or the song that they're listening to, you can actually post the song, or the restaurant, or the podcast, or the web video, or the article with your picture if you want to. And all of your friends can find that and discover it. And so when you share stuff, they find great stuff. When they share stuff, you find great stuff, and it's all coming from people that you've vetted. So we made a little launch video that's actually, this is the debut, I think. No one's seen this except for like an editor and some weirdos on set. So it's not finished, so bear with it. Like everything else in this presentation is kind of haphazard, but I think this will do a better job of describing what it is than
Hot damn, that book was fantastic. I really liked it. I bet you'd like it too, because you like good stuff, and I like you. I love you. What can I say? We have great taste. Books, movies, music, games. We are ladies and gentlemen of the picture. But you're out there, and I'm in here. How do we find each other? Okay, fine, guys. We've got the internet. If you really want advice from your Facebook friends, don't get me wrong, they're terrific, but most of them have the worst taste in the world. Or maybe you want recommendations from an algorithm, or you like Game of Thrones. Then you'll definitely love this 12-pack of toilet paper. We need something just for us. We need this app. It's called Rex. Look at this. Look at all these recommendations for wonderful new things. You like it? Hit the heart button. Want to save it for later? Stick it in your vault. Want to get it now? Go to iTunes. Go to Amazon. Go wherever. And where do these recommendations come from? You, me, friends, experts. A perfect mix that you create. Everyone's Rex is different. Here's mine. Here's my friend Emily. She never steers me wrong.
You should hear the new record by Fortitude. It's deliciously non-committal.
Done. Spectacular. Here's my drinking buddy Tetris.
Palomino, best bar in the city. Don't fight me on this.
Let's check in with Josh. He's a writer.
Sniper 3. It's no Sniper 2.
I'm gonna watch it. This is my friend Linus. He shares all the best articles on international finance. Here's a lady I just started following who's good at restaurants.
Ask for the Firestorm. It's not on the menu, but they'll know what you mean.
Oh look, it's Chris. Let's see what he recommends.
I think you should check out my app Rex. It's pretty great. I think you're gonna like it. Is this too meta?
Probably. Share the stuff you love. And then find new stuff to love. That's Rex. Recommendations for anything.
Woo!
So I think good news and some bad news, right? So Rex is not out yet. It's still in private beta. It's still a pretty small group, but I also have a surprise. You guys can all download it.
Wait, go back.
So, and share with your friends. There's like about 5,000 people on it right now, so you can probably get your name as a username. You can probably go and land grab some like Citizen Kane, be the first one to post it. Do some like Kerouac maybe if you want to get on there. So I'm gonna leave this up here. This code will, you still have to get in with the code. It's still kind of private, but if you go to that link, you enter that code. Once you download it, you'll get in. And share with your friends, please. We would love it if you did. And that's pretty much all I got, unless you have any questions.